Okay, recording has started. So welcome to the 13th session for BW for HANA training, and this is the pre-session Q&A. So we'll see if there are any questions. If not, then I'll show you something. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so we'll see. Since yesterday, any other questions we have? No. Okay, so this one I've marked it as yellow. I'll go through this and I will update the team regarding this because I haven't got a chance to go through this and do some POC. So I'll do that and get back to you. So no questions there. Shakti, let's see if you have any questions.
No, Devanshu, I don't have any.
Wow, really? I think today is the first day you have no questions.
The thing is, I didn't attend the class yesterday completely. So I was completely occupied till the last minute. I just made time for this class now.
Okay,
So
okay.
I
Anyways,
didn't get the
you
chance to do a practice.
that's why. Okay, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, then go through the recording and then let me know if you have any questions.
Yeah, definitely will do.
Okay. So yesterday I told you that there are some tools like query browser where you can see all the CDS views.
Devanshu,
Yes.
Devanshu, before you start, I have one question,
Oh
which
yeah,
is
sure.
which is related to association.
Association.
So,
Okay.
uh, yeah, yesterday you have shown us the cardinality in association, where we have maintained one, and it may present to one to many. So, in case of if I need to maintain many to many or many to one, so how,
Yeah.
what kind of representation will be like? What will be the syntax for that?
So it is basically like this. So if you see association in the CDS views, so cardinality will be like this. So if you have one too many, then it will be something like this to star. And then you have many too many, then it will be star dot dot star. So basically star represents many and 1 0 represents either no records or one record. So and dot dot represents the left side versus the right side. So there are two dots. So format is the number dot dot then the number. And if you want to represent
Okay.
many, it is basically star. So you can give many to one, one to many, then it is many to one. So like this. But if you don't give anything, then okay. Now there are some defaults. Sorry. So you can have defaults like if you just give association to and no cardinality, then system will identify. Or if you want to just give the default left outer join one to many, then I think one. If you just give one, that takes one too
Mm-hmm.
many if I'm not wrong.
Okay.
So those are the defaults which is there in the system. But if you want to explicitly specify, then you have to, sorry, this is not a curly bracket. So square bracket. So then you have to maintain in the square brackets in this format. Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Devanshu,
One
one
more.
small question.
Uh,
Satish here.
Okay, let's go one by one. Yes, Satish.
Yeah, just I wanted to know, in the ADSO, whether it is a normal ADSO or a data mart ADSO. If I'm moving it to production, so is there any way to check my ADSO in development and the one which I have moved in production are in sync, like number of objects within that ADSO I can match? like previously in classic BW, if you say in cube, you have some option wherein you click, it will tell you how many dimensions are there, how many key figures are there, total everything. So you come to know quickly, okay, this many objects are there in development. So whatever I moved in production, there also it's exactly the same. I have not missed anything.
So you are talking about one particular ADSO. You want to
Yeah,
know?
suppose I have created a standard ADSO and I'm moving it to production, or I have created a ADSO of data mart type and I'm moving it to production.
Right. So you want to know that all the key figures, all the characteristics, everything is same or not between dev
Yeah,
and. So is there
yeah,
an easy way?
yeah, easy way.
Mm. To check that, you can basically use backend tables. So in classic BW, also I used to use backend tables. In classic BW, how did you check?
Like if you go to the info queue, there the option was that prior to till 7.3, I think it was there. There is an option in the menu, this thing, wherein you click, you will be able to get the entire how many dimensions are there, how many key figures are there, everything you will get from there. A small button was there. I'm not recollecting exactly what is the name of that button.
So in DSO, you want to ADSO, you want to know. So basically, I'm not sure if that kind of option is there, but see, because in ADSO, there is no segregation of like key figures versus characteristics. We define the groups, right?
Okay.
So and there is no InfoCube in BW for HANA. So in InfoCube, there was a concept of dimensions. In InfoCube, there was a concept of the characteristics, key figures, and dimensions. Here, it's just groups, which is defined by the user, not by the system. And there is no dimension concept. So that kind of, I think, option might not be there. But what you can do is, you can go to a table, which is RSO ADSO, I think. Yeah. So you can go to RSO ADSO and then you can check how many fields total are there. So in our case, if it is Z, D, SD item, say for example, and version is of course active, it will show you how many total fields. Okay, not here. I think this is just the information of active versus modified. So there must be another table. So all tables will start with RSO, ADSO.
Okay.
Something should be there. Yeah, so these are all ADSO tables. And I think there should be one for the info objects or the fields also. I have to check that. RSO, ADSO, RSO con, field map, mapping between field element, fields, key fields. I think let's check this. So you have to check backend tables, or there is one more T code. Let me go to that T code and see what we get there.
Okay.
No, these are key fields. So this is just giving me the key fields of this ADSO. Hold on.
Okay.
So let's go to RSO ADSO to the T code as well. Yeah, these are support functions for the modeling tools, which is ADSO or composite provider. So let's check if we can do something here. Display output, menu, info provider, check, edit, go to create display data. Yeah, there is various list here, updated entry, display output. Output might be the data, I think. I think this is data if I'm not wrong. Oh yeah, there you go. Are you looking for this kind of output?
Yeah.
So
Okay. Anyways.
like it's not exactly same, but it will give you that the key fields, there are two key fields, then there are these many characteristics. Key figures are there, right? If there are any key figures, time characteristics are there, and then units and
Right.
currencies are there. So
Yeah.
this
So that you
way,
can make a quick. Yeah.
yeah, you can make a quick comparison by going to this display output of the ADSO. And you can also do a values list of this ADSO from this T code. This is RSO ADSO T code.
Okay. RSOIDs. Okay. Fine.
Yeah. Or if you want to check further details about the ADSO, then you have to go to backend tables like those tables which I showed you, which will start with RSO ADSO and then give star. And then there'll be a whole bunch of tables. You can find different information about the ADSO there.
Okay.
Okay, you can activate it here. You can check the data also. Okay, this is data and this is was the output, right? So that way you can do that.
Okay. Fine.
Yeah, good question. Yeah, I don't think there's an easy button on the ADSO editor page, but this is the only way I know. You can come here and check. Other than that, I'm not sure if there's any easy option on the editor itself.
Okay.
I didn't find any such option on the editor of the ADSO. So you're talking about, like for example, in the menu option in the info cube, we had this,
Yeah.
right? So there is, first of all, there is no menu option here. All the menu options will be either on the right click of the ADSO, right? And here we don't have any such option. Or, okay, this is not an ADSO, sorry, my bad. Yeah, let's take one of the ADSOs. So either it is on the right click or it is here. You have manage, you have the data archiving process, you have the data preview, you have the reporting view data, or you have the right click on the ADSO.
Okay.
So these are the options. Other than that, the one which I gave you, RSO ADSO, that you can use. There are few more T codes which you should know regarding the ADSO management. So that you will find. So one of them is RSPM underscore monitor, which I already mentioned, and the other one is through RSA1. So what happens is if you want to check certain properties of the ADSO, like the package size for SID activation, package size for other processes related to ADSO, then you have to go to monitors. So in the monitors, you have something called ODQ workload active monitor process monitor. I think this is the one, process monitor. Yeah, this is the same one, RSPM underscore monitor. So here also we have certain options like, okay, this doesn't have any requests. Here also you have options like check the properties of activation, package size, etc. Let me show you that. Oh, there are no requests. Yeah, so you have to go inside this. So ZD, SD, HDR. Ooh, let's see this guy. No requests. Okay, but here also you can, if you go inside, then there are options which can take you to the settings of the ADSO backend settings. Then there is something called, with this you already know, RSRV, right? RSRV is still there in the BW for HANA, and there you can get the tests done for all the ADSOs and all. So this
You
is
can
the
test
same.
you can test the ADSO and all here.
Yes, you can test the ADSO, you can test the consistency of the ADSO, generate programs, foreign key relationships, etc. for the ADSOs here. So this hasn't changed. RSRQ hasn't changed. RSRQ is still there. Only thing is now it is TSN. Instead of that REQ, you will provide the TSN number and then it will give you the details.
Okay.
So these are some of the tools you can use with ADSOs.
Okay. Thank you.
Devanshu, one question. Any plans for data streaming, please? Any team with data streaming process? Streaming.
Streaming
Yeah.
process chain.
Yeah. I want to have that once, if you don't mind.
Streaming process chain, I will tell you when we will deal with process chains, Shrikant.
Okay.
We haven't gone to that stage. So first, let's complete the data flow. We'll create the LSA++ flow for header and item. And then through that flow, we will generate a process chain. I want to show you also that you can create a process chain from the DFM, data flow modeler, directly. And once we create that, then I will show you where the streaming process chain property can be activated.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay, that's coming up.
This is RSRQ script?
Yes, this is RSRQ.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, any other question?
Vanshu, you remember I asked regarding the hierarchies transport?
Oh
You
yeah.
find any?
No, I tried to search for hierarchy transport. I didn't find any. So I think you were right. Probably it is not possible to transport the custom hierarchies. I did a little bit of a search, but I too could not find that option.
Okay. And another is about the CDS views. Is there a private CDS views also?
Private CDS views, yeah, I think so. There are, at least there used to be, in the HANA Live, there used to be private views and then customer views. But in CDS views, I don't think private, there is something called private CDS views. I have heard of interface CDS views, basic CDS views, and consumption CDS views. There are three types of CDS views. Private and reusable, that was HANA Live concept. And in CDS views, I don't think a private is there. At least I have not heard that, or I have not worked with private CDS views. But there are basic, then interface, and then consumption. I think basic is also part of interface. Interface has, okay, so let me draw the diagram for you. So no private, I think, but this is how it is. So we have, come on. Okay, so we have two groups, basically. One group is called interface CDS views. They will start with I underscore. Within interface, we have two subgroups. One is called basic and the other one is called composite. Basic means master data, there will be a basic view, transaction data, there will be a basic view. And then composite will combine the master data and the transaction data CDS views into one composite view. So these are all interface views. Okay, interface basic view, interface composite view. And then we have something called consumption views. They will start with C underscore. So consumption CDS views are specific to the consumer, like for example, OData or your Fairy Tile or any other consumer like analytics. So they will have the necessary annotations so that the specific consumer can read them. And interface, they will use the interface CDS views. So they are built on top of the interface CDS views. Other than that, I'm not aware of any other types of CDS views. There might be. I have not worked. So private, I don't think there is, unless somebody has worked on it. I don't know. These are the CDS views I know of, and I have worked with. And these are basically the embedded analytics CDS views: basic, composite, and the consumption. Basic, composite together, they are called interface CDS views.
So for our development, we generally extend the interface views, right?
That's right. You can extend the interface views or use them as it is, or you create. I would recommend don't use directly the interface standard views. Create your ZCDS view, extract only the required columns. So if interface CDS views has 50 columns, you just need 10 of them. Then don't just directly use it. Create a Z with 10 columns only, and then you extract the data in BW or anywhere else you want. Now these CDS views also generate something called transient provider. We all know that, right? I discussed this in BI statistics. So transient provider and ODP, operational data provider.
So Debanshu, let's say in the operational reporting embedded analytics, they are using one CDS view, and can the same CDS view can be used for this ODP extractor and load the data to BW?
Yes, provided it has the necessary annotation. We know that there are 3 necessary annotation. 2 are for full load and the 1 is for delta load. So if you have those 3 annotations, which is data category, data extraction enabled, and data extraction delta. So if those are there, then definitely you can use for both the purpose.
Yeah, when we use those annotations, but the operational reporting Fiori, that level, that is not going to impact, right?
No, that's not going to impact.
Oh.
See, basically what happens is those annotations which are analytics specific, they create these providers, transient provider and ODP. So if your CDS view has cube, that will create a transient provider. And if your CDS view has that annotation like data category and data extraction, that will create an operational data provider. Operational data provider is used for extraction, because when we create the data source in BW side, you don't give the name of the CDS view. The name is the SQL view, and SQL view is nothing but your operational data provider. So it has to generate that operational data provider. Not every CDS view will generate the operational data provider. You have to have those data category and data extraction annotations there. Otherwise, operational data providers will not be generated. And then on top of that, if you have cube or dimension, then it also generates transient provider, which can be a source for your query, BW query. Okay, so you can create a BW query on top of a transient provider. And from ODP, this is for the extraction. So this is the purpose. Then you also have something called analytic query CDS view, or not analytic, query CDS view, which will generate analytic query. This you can also directly use in your Fiori tiles, in SAP Analytics Cloud, so on and so forth. So either you can create a BW query based on the transient provider, or you can use the analytic query, which is generated by the query CDS view. So different types of CDS views will generate different types of artifacts, which is used for different purposes. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Okay. So what I wanted to show you quickly was the query browser. So I got the password for that, and I want to show you that. So let me go to Fiori. So this is S4 Fiori Launchpad. So I'm going to launch that. And there, okay. So there we have a tile, and you have to have certain roles in the backend. Only if you have those roles, then you will see that tile. Otherwise, you will not be able to see those tiles. And I have provided the details of that yesterday. If you see in the tools and tables, these are the necessary SICF services you'll have to activate and assign this role SAP BR employee, and you have to activate the BWINA, BWMIME, and the ICF information. So there are certain ICF services you have to activate, and you have to provide this role. Only when you meet these prerequisites, then you will be able to see a tile on the S4 HANA Fiori Launchpad, which will say query browser. And that query browser is a good way, a good graphical way to navigate through the standard CDS views provided by SAP. So it's taking a little bit of time, so let it load. But that's another way to check on from the front end Fiori interface, what are the CDS views already provided. And you can also group them or view them by application component, meaning you can see for materials management, how many CDS views, what are those CDS views, for finance, how many CDS views, for project management, plant maintenance, how many CDS views, so on and so forth. So you can group them by application component and then accordingly it will show its CDS views. Okay, I think it's loading now. So let's give it a few seconds. Okay, there you go. So this is the tile, query browser. Okay, we have a lot of headers. We have current settings, master data, journal entries. These are all transactional tiles. That means Fiori on the S4 side has three things: transactional apps, analytical apps, and fact sheets. I'm not sure exactly what fact sheet is used for, but analytical apps are basically your transactions, what you can do, the activities you can do, like posting the data, creating a document, a sales document, creating a purchase order, purchase requisition. Those are called transactional activities. And for them, SAP has given transactional apps. Apps is nothing but a tile. So through that tile, you can do those transactional activities. The other part is analytical apps. Analytical apps means you can see the query browser, the CDS views, so on and so forth. So query browser is part of the analytical apps on the Fiori Launchpad. So if you click here, query browser, this will give you the list of all the CDS views which are there in your S4HANA. It depends on the version, which version of S4HANA you have. Accordingly, the CDS views will be different. So if you have 1709, you might have lesser CDS views than 1809 than compared to 1909, so on and so forth.
So is it by default or we need to get access for this, Devanshu?
You need to get access for this. This you have to do basic configuration to activate the query browser. Once you have this, then you can easily, then you will be able to see the tile. Then you'll be able to see this header query browser, and then you can see the tile.
Can we find the custom series which was created yesterday from here?
I don't know. Let's see. Let's try to see. So here you have sort object, view name, or application component. By default, it will be view name. You can sort with application component. So that application component wise, it will be grouped like this. So this is for BCT, NetWeaver, NWD. This is for the TCT. This is for some DBA administration. This is for the CPD, which is the, I think, project. Then this is FCC, Financial Closing Cockpit. Then this is FIAP. This is FIGL, MM Purchasing, MIG, which is managerial, I think, accounting or something. So these are different groups or application components under which these CDS views are organized. Now let's try to search our CDS view. So what was the name of the CDS view? Let's see. Okay, so we have this package. Under that package, we have the CDS, Core Data Service, and we created the one for item and one for header, and we extended them as well. So let's try to search for the item. Let's see.
Devanshu, to get trained vendor, did you have to ask for anything special, or you were able to perform those steps for activating query browser for your user yourself?
No, I had to ask the get trained people to give me this role. By default, you will not have this role. So you have to specifically request for that.
Okay.
SICF services are activated. So that is for all because that is system specific, not user ID specific. But the role is assigned to a specific user ID. So you have to ask for that.
Okay, thanks.
No, I don't think you can, I think, find your custom ones. I think these
Also,
are...
we need to activate the service in
OData service. We need
OData
to,
service or something.
yeah, maybe OData if we enable in the CDS view.
We have Z CDS view actually here, which is already, I can see the Z CDS view, but I think these CDS views will have certain annotations which exposes them to the query browser. It might be OData, it might be the query, because it says analytical queries. When it says analytical queries, that means they will have certain annotation. So let's try to find this.
Yeah, I think you put one annotation for one of the view. You provide the OData annotation for one of the view, right?
So Debanshu, to make it available, in my understanding, we in PO system, like there is a transaction code where we should post this CDS.
These are consumption analytics query. This is the
so
one.
This is created by myself. I did this.
Oh, you did this. Okay. So I think this is the one. Analytics.query is true. Will generate the analytical query. I was talking about this, right? Query CDS view. The way you make a CDS view as query CDS view is through this annotation. Analytics.query and true. And then this is a consumption type consumption. So I think I'm not sure if both are necessary. Probably only with this you should be able to see your CDS view on the query browser. Try it out, give it a shot, and maybe it will be available. Because it says analytical queries, and by analytical queries, what I'm inferring is that only this annotation is good enough. Analytics.query is true. But maybe consumption is also required. So first try with this. Okay, this is the one for OData. OData.publish equals to true, right? So don't give all the three. First try with this and don't give these two. If it is still not visible, then you provide to give the OData publish true and VDM type is consumption, and then see if it is visible there in the query browser. So yeah, I think these annotations or one of them is necessary for the CDS view to be available in this query browser. Okay, all right. So let's stop the Q&A now. I'll stop the recording.